The encounter, the rust-colored dust of Proxima B's swirled around Darius Reed as he adjusted his environmental suit's filters. 3 years stationed at Nova Settlement had taught him the planet's moods today. It was restless. His scanner beeped, detecting an anomaly half a kilometer east. Control. This is Reed. I'm tracking an unusual heat signature in Sector 7, he reported through his comm. Jalen's voice crackled back, probably another geovent. Mark it and head back. Storm's intensifying. Negative, Darius replied, squinting through his visor at the horizon. Patterns too regular. Going to investigate. Always the hero, Jalen sighed. Don't make me send a rescue team for you again. Darius grinned and adjusted his course. At 34, he was Nova's most experienced ranger, with an uncanny instinct for survival on this unforgiving world. The colony needed people like him, those willing to take calculated risks. As he approached the anomaly, the scanner's beeping intensified. Behind a cluster of red rock formations, he discovered the source, a small figure huddled against the stones, partially buried by the swirling dust. Not human. The child, he assumed it was a child based on its size head. Iridescent blue skin that seemed to pulse with an inner light. 2 sets of eyes blinked up at him, both pairs filled with what he recognized across species as fear. Hey there, Darius said softly, kneeling. You're hurt. The translator in his suit processed his words, emitting a series of musical tones. The child flinched but didn't flee. Darius noticed the wound on its leg-a-deep gash oozing violet fluid. I can help, he said, slowly reaching for his medical kit. His cum crackled. Reed, what's the status? Jalen, I've found a child. Not human, injured. A pause. You know the protocols. Nova doesn't have diplomatic clearance with any non-human species. Mark the location and return immediately. Darius studied the small being. Its clothing was torn, and it trembled from fear or cold. He couldn't tell. Something about its eyes reminded him of his sister's children back on Earth. Can't do that. It needs medical attention, Darius. Think about this. We don't know its species, its biology, or if it's carrying pathogens. Hell, we don't even know if it's really a child or some kind of lure. The small being reached out with a 4-fingered hand, touching Darius's visor. Help, it said, the word coming through his translator with surprising clarity. I'm bringing it in, Darius decided. That's against every protocol we have. Then write me up. He closed the channel and gently gathered the child into his arms. I'm Darius, he said. What should I call you? The child's inner light pulsed slightly brighter. Through the translator came a single word, Tala. All right, Tala, Darius said, rising to his feet. Let's get you somewhere safe. As he turned back toward his rover, he missed the brief. Intelligent Flash and Tala's eyes looked too calculating for a child. The sanctuary Darius didn't take Tala to Nova Settlement. Instead, he drove his rover northwest to an abandoned research outpost he'd discovered months ago. He'd kept it secret, gradually converting it into a personal sanctuary, away from the colony's cramped quarters. Here, he could help Tala without triggering Nova's strict quarantine procedures. This is home for now, he explained, carrying Tala inside. The outpost was small, but well-equipped, a main room with basic furnishings, a kitchenette, and a small lab area. Solar panels provided power. And he'd installed a water reclamation system. Tala's eyes, all 4 of them, widened, taking in the surroundings. Darius set the child down on his cot and gathered medical supplies. I don't know much about your physiology, he admitted, but infection is probably universal. Let me clean that wound. To his surprise, Tala remained perfectly still as he worked, only the occasional pulsing of the blue skin indicating pain. The wound was deep but clean. He applied a regenerative gel and a bandage. There, it should heal nicely, he said, offering a ration bar. Hungry? It's human food, but the biochemical scanner says it shouldn't harm you. Tala accepted the bar, examining it curiously before taking a small bite. A look of surprise crossed the alien features, followed by what Darius interpreted as pleasure. The food disappeared quickly. Guess you were hungry, Darius laughed. Where did you come from, Tala? Are there others looking for you? Tala's light dimmed slightly. Alone? Lost? Darius nodded, not pushing for more. Rest now. You're safe here. As Tala drifted to sleep, Darius stepped outside to check the perimeter sensors he'd installed. The storm had intensified, painting the landscape in swirling reds and oranges. His comm remained silent. He disabled the tracking function after leaving Sector 7. You're breaking every rule in the manual, he muttered to himself. A sound behind him made him turn sharply. A figure emerged from the dust humanoid, but definitely not human. Tall and slender with the same iridescent blue skin as Tala, but darker, almost indigo. Her eyes, just two of them, were golden, with vertical pupils that contracted in the fading light. Ranger Darius Reed, she said, her voice musical even through his translator. I am Nomia the Viridians. Darius's hand moved to his sidearm. How do you know my name? She inclined her head. We've been watching you for some time. May I see Tala? Why should I trust you? Because Tala does. Her golden eyes held his. And because you already broke your settlement's rules to help one of us? What's one more transgression? Something in her directness disarmed him. He gestured toward the outpost. After you? Inside, Tala was awake, sitting upright with an alertness that surprised Darius, given the injury. When Naomi entered, Tala's skin brightened noticeably. Naomi knelt beside the cot, placing a long-fingered hand on Tala's head. They exchanged sounds that his translator couldn't process. You treated the wound well, Naomi said finally, turning to Darius. Our biology is resilient, but infection was a risk. Is Tala your child? Darius asked. A smile curved Naomi's lips. Not exactly. But Tala is precious to our people, as all our young are. And what exactly are your people doing on Proxima B without contacting Nova Settlement? Naomi rose to her full height, her indigo skin catching the light. That, Ranger Reed, is a longer conversation. One, I believe we should have. The outpost's main room felt smaller with Naomi's presence. She moved with fluid grace, examining Darius's sparse belongings with undisguised curiosity while Tala slept peacefully. Your kind values simplicity, she observed. Running a finger along his bookshelf factual paper books, a luxury on a frontier world, Darius leaned against the wall, still wary. My kind is varied. I value simplicity. Others might not. A fair correction. Naomi took a seat, folding her long limbs elegantly. You want explanations? That would be nice. Yes. Her golden eyes studied him intently. The Viridians have been observing humanity since your species first reached beyond your solar system. We find you, ... fascinating, contradictory, capable, of both tremendous compassion and terrible destruction. Most intelligent species probably are, perhaps. She glanced at Tala. We needed to understand if humans could be trusted as galactic neighbors. Traditional observation has limitations. We needed something more ... direct. Understanding dawned on Darius. Tala was never lost. No, Tala was placed where you would find her. Your response was the test. Anger flared in Darius. You risked a child's safety for a test? Tala was never in danger. Others of my kind were nearby, monitoring. Had you chosen to leave her, or worse, they would have intervened. So I was being evaluated. Like some lab experiment? Naomi's skin darkened slightly. We have encountered other species who see the weak as expendable, who view compassion as weakness. We needed to know what humanity values. And if I had failed your test, then we would have remained hidden, watching and waiting for humanity to evolve, or destroy itself. Her voice softened. But you didn't fail, Darius Reed. You risked your position and safety for a being you didn't know. That tells us much. Darius paced the small room, processing her words. So what happens now? Now, Naomi said, rising to her feet with fluid grace, we offer an alliance. My people possess technologies your colony desperately needs: better environmental systems, medical advancements, defenses against Proxima's radiation, and what do you want in return? A foothold, a formal introduction to humanity through Nova Settlement. She stepped closer, and Darius became acutely aware of her presence, the slight fragrance like night-blooming flowers. the warmth radiating from her skin. "And we want you to be our intermediary." "Why me? I'm just a ranger who chose compassion over protocol." Her hand touched his arm, the contact sending an unexpected current through him. "Someone we can trust." The moment was interrupted by a sharp alarm from Darius's security system. He moved quickly to the console. "Proximity alert," he muttered, checking the readings. "Multiple signals approaching from the east." "Not Viridians," he added, glancing at Nomi. Her expression hardened. "The Corvin. They must have tracked us here." "Enemies of yours?" "Of all peaceful species. They're scavengers. Pirates." She moved to Tala, who was now awake and alert. "We need to leave." Darius checked the weapons locker. "No time. They've surrounded us." "Whoever they are, it looks like we're making our stand here." "The Siege 7 hostiles," Darius reported, scanning the perimeter feeds. "Armed with energy weapons, they're setting up a containment field." Naomi moved with practiced efficiency, helping Tala into a corner where the walls offered the most protection. "The Corvin hunt for advanced technology. They must have detected our communication systems." "Then they're in for a disappointment," Darius replied, checking the charge on his pulse rifle. "This outpost is strictly low-tech. It's not the outpost they want." Naomi's golden eyes met his. "Viridian biotech is highly valuable. Tala and I would fetch a significant price." The implication chilled him. "Not happening on my watch." A boom shook the structure as something impacted the eastern wall. Dust rained from the ceiling. "They're testing our defenses," Darius said, moving to a reinforced window slit. He caught glimpses of scaled reptilian forms moving through the dust storm. "Can your people send help?" "They're too far. We're on our own." Nomi pulled a small device from her clothing. It expanded in her hand, forming a weapon unlike anything Darius had seen. "Nice trick," he said appreciatively. A hint of a smile touched her lips. "You haven't seen anything yet?" The next impact was stronger, cracking the outer shell of the eastern wall. Darius returned fire, his pulse rifle sending blue energy bolts into the swirling dust. A screeching cry told him he'd hit something. "They'll circle around," Naomi warned, positioning herself by the southern entrance. Standard Corvin tactics. As if confirming her words, the security feed showed movement at the rear of the outpost. Darius swore under his breath. "Tala," he called, "behind that panel is an emergency tunnel. If they break through, you run. Understand?" Tala's 4 eyes blinked in acknowledgement. The next few minutes passed in a blur of noise and focused action. The Corvin attacked from multiple angles, but Darius and Naomi worked in surprising harmony, covering each other's positions without needing to communicate. During a brief lull, they found themselves pressed together behind an overturned table. Darius was acutely aware of her proximity, the way her skin pulsed with exertion, how her breath came fast but controlled. "We make a good team," he said, recharging his weapon. Indeed, her golden eyes held his for a moment longer than necessary. "For different species, we are ... compatible. Something unspoken passed between them. Recognition of mutual respect that hinted at deeper possibilities. The moment shattered. As 3 Corvan broke through the weakened eastern wall, Darius pivoted, firing rapidly, taking down 2. The third launched itself at Naomi, claws extended. She moved with incredible speed, but not quite fast enough. Razor-sharp claws raked across her side, drawing violet blood. Darius slammed the butt of his rifle into the attacker's head with enough force to crack its skull. Naomi. He was at her side instantly, supporting her as she wavered. "I'll heal," she assured him, though pain edged her voice. "We need to hold a little longer." As she leaned against him, their faces inches apart, Darius made a decision that transcended protocol, species, or reason. He leaned forward and pressed his lips to hers. For a heartbeat, she stiffened in surprise. Then she responded, her mouth warm and alien, yet somehow perfectly right against his. A sound from Tala's direction broke them apart. The child was pointing at the security monitor where new signals were appearing. "More Corvin?" Darius asked. Nomi's expression transformed into relief. "No, Viridians. Help has arrived after all." The Alliance 1 month after the siege. Darius stood on Nova Settlement's observation deck, watching the construction of the new Viridian embassy. Workers from both species moved in coordinated effort, combining human industrial techniques with Viridian technology to create a structure unlike anything on Proxima b before. Admiring the view, Naomi's voice came from behind him. Musical and now familiar without the translator, Darius turned, smiling at the sight of her. She'd taken to wearing a blend of human and Viridian clothing, practical explorer's pants paired with a flowing top that complemented her indigo skin. Just thinking about how much has changed, he replied as she joined him at the railing. The changes had been swift and profound. After the Corvin attack, the Viridian rescue team had formally introduced themselves to Nova's leadership. Initial skepticism had given way to excitement as the potential benefits of alliance became clear. Darius, as the human who had demonstrated the compassion that impressed the Viridians, had been appointed as Nova's official liaison. Having second thoughts about your new role, Ambassador Reed? Naomi teased, her golden eyes catching the light. Second thoughts. He took her hand, still marveling at how natural it felt despite the differences in their biology. Though I do miss the simplicity of ranger patrols sometimes. We could take the rover out tomorrow, she suggested. Tala has been asking to see the crystal formations in Sector 12. The mention of Tala brought a smile. The young Viridian had become Darius's unofficial cultural guide, teaching him Viridian customs and language with childlike enthusiasm. How is Tala's training going? He asked. Well, she'll be one of our youngest cultural analysts. Naomi's expression softened. She says you're her favorite subject. Darius laughed. I'm honored. Though I'm still getting used to the idea that the injured child I rescued was actually evaluating me. For what it's worth, you exceeded all our parameters. Naomi moved closer, her body warm against his side, both professionally and ... personally. Their relationship had developed alongside the diplomatic one between their species, tentative at first, then growing with each shared experience. They had discovered that despite their biological differences, they shared core values: courage, compassion, curiosity. The physical aspects had required creativity and patience, but the results had been worth the exploration. There were still challenges: physiological incompatibilities, cultural misunderstandings, but they approached each one with the same determination that had gotten them through the siege. The Council wants us to visit Earth next month, Darius said, to introduce Viridian delegates to the United Nations. Are you ready to show me your homeworld? Are you ready to meet my family? He countered with a grin. She leaned in, pressing her forehead to his in the Viridian gesture of affection. As ready as you were to face down the Corvin for me? Below them, humans and Viridians continued their work, building something new together, much like what was growing between them. Neither could predict where this unprecedented relationship might lead, but both were committed to the journey. By the way, Darius said, reaching into his pocket, I had something made for you. Pulled out a small object, a pendant fashioned from Proxima crystal and Earth silver. The two materials twisted together in an intricate pattern. Naomi's skin pulsed with emotion as she took it. It's beautiful. Like our differences, he said softly. Stronger together than apart. As the twin suns of Proxima began to set, casting the landscape in amber and gold, Darius and Naomi sealed their personal alliance with a kiss that bridged worlds, species, and the vast distances between stars.